Hello and welcome to Price London Fan TV. Ali here, bringing you my match review of the game at Selhurst Park between Crystal Palace and Burnley, which of course finished 3-0 to Burnley. It was the biggest victory since Meghan and Prince Harry's court battle victory last week, and that was followed up nicely by a victory for Prince Harry's dad, Sean Dyche, who won 3-0 at the Palace, and Palace's perilous form continues. Let's get into all the usual features. Roy's rating should be fun, and a man of the match if I can find one. So Roy's rating, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. Let's begin with the formation. In a poll I did on social media last week, 93.3% of you said you wanted Palace to play a 4-2-3-1 formation. However, Roy chose to play 4-4-2, so I'm guessing he's the 6.7%. But to be fair, if you're going to carry on with the 4-4-2, I reckon Burnley probably was the one to do it, where you could match up against them. However, it just plainly didn't work. And what has become abundantly clear, forget the tactics, is that Roy has lost the dressing room. These players are not playing for him. Half of them are strolling around, and they have to take responsibility as well. In these times where we're in our third lockdown, and the fans, they look forward to the game at the weekends. Don't know why. Why would anyone look forward to watching Palace play, especially at the moment? But that's what they do. And the fans represent not just the club, but a community. And these players are letting the club and the community down right now. Not all of them, but at least half of them were strolling around. And it was, to be honest, totally unacceptable. And Roy can be criticised, but some of these players have to take responsibility as well. Let's have a look at some of the players. Now, I'm going to start with Vincenzo Guaita. Now, I do not file him under the category of people who are not putting the effort in. Vincenzo has been brilliant since he came to the club. Love his interaction with the fans on social media. He's been nothing short of great. And I never thought we'd have a goalkeeper who the fans would respect and idolise almost as much as Julian Speroni, and so quickly as well. But there has been an issue dating back as far back as the Watford quarter-final a few years ago, where they bullied him on corners, and the same happened. Dyche targeted him from corners on Saturday, and he got bullied, and an already shaky defence just has no real confidence in him. He just punches everything from corners, and it's an issue. And I think it will be an issue against Brighton next Monday, who have giants in their team, and if they've got any sense, they'll target Vincenzo again in that way. Fantastic shot stopper, but his problems and his just tendency to punch everything is an issue at corners and continues to be so. I do think that is a problem for us as a team. And what's interesting is Jack Butland sitting on the bench, an intriguing number 2 who, until a serious injury in Stoke's relegation, was fighting to be England number 1. And I just think at some point, and I know this isn't a popular opinion, but at some point, will Butland be tried again? Because he did play very, very well. Well, not very, very well, but well. I think he had a decent debut against Wolves in the FA Cup. Moving on to left back, Patrick Van Aanholt, PVA. I thought the season for him couldn't really get any worse, but then he made Matthew Lowton look like primetime Cafu. Let's just move on. Scott Dann, again, like Guaita, a player who really does try, being a great servant to this football club, but unfortunately, sadly, I think his time in the Premier League has come to an end. It's quite sad to see him like that, to be honest, and I think in the summer, it will have to be a thank you very much and goodbye. Next time I get lost and then find myself walking down a cul-de-sac, I'll think of one of Jordan Ayew's runs. Again, not his best performance on Saturday. And then let's come to Luka Milivojevic, our captain, who, by the way, doesn't seem to realise we're not in the ground, because still in his programme notes, he's writing, make some noise. Well, we would love to, but we're not allowed in the ground, Luka. And also, if we were in the ground, I don't think you'd appreciate the noise we'd be making at the moment. Sky Sports, at the end of the game, should have just played the Holmesdale noise at the end of that Sunderland game when we lost, was it 4-0? Because it was those kind of vibes on their crowd noise that they have at the moment, the fake crowd noise. But Luka, I don't know what's happened to him. He just can't seem to find a man when he passes the football. And I did a little thing on social media, players you'd rather have in central midfield than Luka. Some good answers. Jamie Pollock, Jordan Much, but Ndiaye was my favourite one. Just generally awful, wasn't it? We could go through some more positions, but it was just an awful all-round display, and it was just terrible to watch. I would genuinely have rather watched repeat of Gemma Collins on Piers Morgan's life stories, although I'd rather have GC taking the corners than Luca. So there you go. Not very good performance at all. So to find a man of the match will be difficult. That therefore, again, just like the Leeds game, I'm going to go to the opposition and I'll give it to Lowton. Fair play. I don't think the lad's going to have a better game in his whole career. Perhaps Crystal Palace, the gift that keeps on giving. Let's get in then to the next game, which would, of course, be Brighton. I will be doing a review of that game. But the thing I would say is if Wilfred Zaha is fit, and that's a big if, because he does have a hamstring injury, even though he does tend to heal quickly, it is a bit of a long shot. But if he is fit, make him captain. Now, you might have got the vibe I'm not really about protecting Luca anymore. Make Wilf captain. If anyone understands what this game means, it is Wilf. I would have kept him captain after the game against Man United, one of the last times I can really remember us being motivated as a team. And also, I kind of got the reason. You don't know with Wilf every transfer window if something's going to happen, but the January window's shut. Let's just make him captain now until the end of the season. And it is interesting, in a podcast, Wilf did say that a lot of the players now don't really understand the Brighton rivalry. And that just sort of sums up really where we are with this set of players. Even if Wilf can't play, get him in that dressing room, make them realise, Wilf, what this game means. And we go into that game, I guess, now with some trepidation, considering our recent form. Brighton have had an upsurge in form, and if they win, they will go above us. But of course, last season, we did end up getting a result, despite probably, not being on the best form then either. So it'll be an interesting game. Check out my review of that coming up. So where do we go from here? In terms of Roy Hodgson, my stance hasn't changed all season. I've always said from the start that the end of the season is the natural time to do it, with all the contracts coming to an end. Lots of people saying caretakers, give it to Derry, give it to Paddy McCarthy, give it to Dougie. All those guys are doing very good jobs in their faculties of the club. Why really do we want to take them away from that? To caretake a team where half of them don't care, half of them probably won't be here next season with all the contracts expiring. We're not going. I know some fans are getting worried. Okay, we lost to Brighton and Fulham, then maybe we could start worrying about relegation. But that's maybe when you might think, actually, we need to let Roy go sooner. But I'm at this stage, I don't want to curse it, but maybe I'm not worried about relegation. Roy is just seeing us through to the end of the season in this boring fashion, and we may as well just accept it. But the next manager is interesting. I did do a poll on social media again, and Frank Lampard winning that with around 35% of the votes, and Eddie Howe and Cooper of Swansea not far behind. So Lampard winning it. Initially, I was totally against Frank Lampard. I felt defensively at Derby, his defensive structure, a lot of Derby fans will tell you, was poor. And it followed him to Chelsea. But I think if he had an experienced assistant, and no disrespect to Jody Morris, I'm sure he could be a good footballing coach. I do feel we need somebody more experienced alongside him. Got the best out of the likes of Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham. And with our academy, our Category A academy, which, by the way, can't have anyone on the bench in the first team, despite us having 4 members of the back 4 on the bench at the weekend on Saturday, still a member of our Category A academy does not find themselves on the bench just for a little bit of experience. And that really is another reason why Roy has to go at the end of the season for me. But you voted Frank Lampard, but it was very, very close. Eddie Howe, Cooper of Swansea, Sean Dyche came bottom on the poll. I would have thought he might come higher after that, but why would he leave Burnley after seeing us on Saturday? Any more ideas for the next manager of Crystal Palace? If Roy goes, still a big if. The board still might let him stay. I wouldn't be surprised. Who do you think should take over from Roy if he does go? Let me know in the comments section below. What you're thinking about Brighton? Are you confident? Maybe not now. I will see you for the review. As always, leave your comments below and press that subscribe button if you've liked this video.